Drew is here, and it is time for Prem and Proper the review. So I have to hang on just a second and properly promote what's going on. Looking back at hashtag Fest. Let me see now. I was trying to write as Bart was trying to wrap his segment. Let's see. Be a part. It'd be good if you could spell, you idiot. Of the conversation at .tv. See, Drew, this is me. This is me trying to sit here and go, okay, I wasn't properly prepared in trying to promote your segment coming in at 10:30 because I know this is a hit and run for you. Go ahead with your opening monologue, sir, and let me know what you think about Festive Fixtures.
I enjoyed it. I thought all of wasn't too many as opposed to that Everton and Wolves game on Saturday. I mean, fairly close games, lots of good games, very exciting. And like I said, it just gave people some time who aren't used to it or would love to watch games but they have to work. I mean, if you couldn't find time to enjoy at least one game over the last 10 days, I feel a little bad for you.
And Rich Ransom is in this morning, and he truly did appreciate your proper greeting, because as we always know, Prem and Proper is too sweet
for life, baby.
Let me ask you about Wayne Rooney. We led with Wayne this morning, and he was opening kickoff. And to continue our wrestling references, we mentioned that Birmingham City screwed Birmingham City, much like Matt. Birmingham City screwed Birmingham City. You had John Eustace. You were sixth in the table, and you're like, ooh, shiny object. Ooh, well, let's get Wayne Rooney. You get Wayne Rooney, and now you're 20th. What did you think about Rooney as higher at Birmingham City, and now being shown the door where he thinks he didn't get enough time to do stuff?
Well, I mean, this is what's going to boil down to. I haven't done as much research into Wayne Rooney's Birmingham City time, but what you can do is you can do a little compare and contrast. What did he offer for DC United that helped excel the club of DC United? Not much, except for jersey sales and more people at the stadium, I guess. But John, just because somebody's a great football player or soccer player does not mean it's gonna resonate on the bench. When clearly his personality isn't resonating. Wayne Rooney's got the personality of a wet mop, so I don't really understand how any of that resonates with kids in a locker room. Maybe I'm wrong, but I need somebody who I want to fight for. I need somebody I want to go to war with, and I never saw that in Wayne unless I was on the field playing with him. If that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the on the field version versus the off the field translation, I think, is what you're getting at there. So yeah, they were sixth when he started. They're now 20th in the championship, 6 points out of the relegation zone right now, and it was they in those 15 matches that he was in charge. They only they only won twice. And obviously that was good enough for dead blanking last in the championship for that 15-match period, least number of points gained by any team there. And Rooney admits he's probably got to look at stuff, and you wonder if he's going to take a break or if someone is going to sit there and go, yeah, Wayne, come on in. We'll see what happens. But it was an intriguing hire, but Birmingham City screwed Birmingham City when you were sixth and now you're 20th.
Well, I mean, you also, I think a lot of it has to do with, you just got a shiny, sexy object in coming into the ownership with Tom Brady. So let's get a shiny, sexy object to stand on the sideline that everybody in the country knows, everybody in the country can get around or get behind. But again, it just goes back to what we just said. Just because you can score 20 goals on the field doesn't mean you can coach another person to score 20 goals on the field. So I think he should take a break. Take a break, go watch Kai play, enjoy your kids, and if the right opportunity comes around again, jump at it. But I think Rooney needs to develop himself. I mean, look, he's turning himself into a Frank Lampard. Is Lampard ever going to get a job again?
I don't know about that, brother, but it's got to be one where he fits and the owners have patience in trying to make sure that he is going to do what he sets out to do. We're at either 19 or 20 matches, depending on who has played, who hasn't played. We've got one match today officially to end festive fixtures
Yeah.
with West Ham and Brighton coming up this afternoon. Survivors of festive fixtures, I guess you could say that Liverpool continues to be a survivor in festive fixtures, but there's Manchester City kind of lurking with that match in hand. I mean, when they win that match in hand, and you imagine that they will only be 2 points behind Liverpool. And Bart has already put his hands over his head because he heard that high whistle. But yeah, Arsenal, 1 point in their last 3 matches, and now Arsenal is looking up at Liverpool where Arsenal was on top.
Well, you asked me about it. Is either last week or the week before last, and I said just wait till the new year hits, and Arsenal will Arsenal. And sure enough, they did. And but I want to give Arsenal credit,
Yeah.
not credit for what has happened, but credit because their ownership and their manager, they have ambition. They want to win. So with the transfer window open, whether it's Ivan Tony or somebody else, they're going to bring in a striker. They're going to bring in a goal scorer because honestly, that's all they lack. They lack that true number 9. I mean, a lot of teams do, but if they find that goal scorer, and I'm not too sure Ivan Tony kind of matches the play style of Mikel Arteta, but I will say he's scoring 20 goals a season in the Premier League, and that's very hard to find a 20 a season goal scorer. And if they can figure out a way to put that ball in the back of the net, the sky's the limit for them for the rest of the season.
Rich actually does make the point. Rooney took Birmingham City from 6th to 20th in 15 matches, was sacked before DC United has even announced his replacement. That should tell you 2 things about 2 separate franchises. Midseason MVPs. Let's do this. Your midseason most valuable player, most important player, however you want to phrase it. Who's your midseason MVP in the Premier League?
I've got 2.
Okay.
And I'm going to start with the complete evaporation of confidence that Manchester City has without their number 9 on the field. He's scored 14 goals this season, and he's missed the last 4, maybe 3-4 games in the Premier League, and you can see that they struggle. But with him on the field, they're just a whole different ball game. So it might be an obvious pick, but I will stick with Erling Haaland as 1. But it's going to maybe a shock. But I'm really enjoying what Ollie Watkins has brought to the table for Aston Villa in the first half of this season. Where would they be without him? And it's the robbery, with Southgate at the helm. There's been robberies, since the World Cup of players not getting picked. But Calvin Phillips, who's played maybe 90 minutes of football this season, being chosen to go represent England over James Ward-Prowse is a crime. And those 3 players with Haaland, Ollie Watkins, and what Ward-Prowse has brought to West Ham, who are absolutely flying right now. Okay, I said 2, so I brought out 3, but those are the 3 names that come to mind for me. What about you?
No, I'm right there with you. I like Ollie Watkins. I'll give you Dominic Solanke from Bournemouth.
Yes.
Trust
me, I know.
With what we've seen from him, and I'll give you Emi Martinez from Aston Villa. You went offense, I'll go defense, and when you have somebody like Emi Martinez between the sticks to help you out, obviously that's going to work really well. I think you got to look at somebody like Heung-min Son for what he's been able to do with the offense that Ange has put together. At Spurs is another part of that discussion. So then leaning to taking your MVPs and throwing them into a pile, does that mean that Unai Emery is your manager of the midway point?
Yes, 100%. And if Spurs wouldn't have gotten completely rattled with injuries, I mean, that James Maddison injury has murdered them. I mean, you can tell he is. And listen, John, if things would have gone well for him health-wise, he would have been right up there in the MVP of the first half of the season as well. But I lost my train of thought. What did you ask me?
Just no, we were talking about manager of the year for the halfway point.
Oh yeah, yeah. I don't know how to say his name correctly, but we'll stick with Ange, like you
Yeah.
said. The Tottenham head coach.
Yeah.
If that injury, if those injuries wouldn't have happened because they were absolutely flying as well. But John, how can you not give it to Unai Emery? It'd be strange to not, because what he has done in such a short amount of time, picking up the pieces that Gerrard left, if there are any, he has just, I mean, unbelievable. They're fun to watch.
I know we've only got you. We're gonna treat it like the Canadian Football League. 3-minute warning, and Rosie's going to come in here in a second. Biggest disappointment of the halfway point.
I mean, I'm going to put on my bias hat here, but I think we both know who the most disappointed is: Manchester United.
Okay.
The From every aspect, I mean, we know that the ownership and the board, that just, to me, that just gets kind of, it's like beating a dead horse. We know the Glazers are crap, but at some point, those $1 million a month players have to start performing. And if we want to go the biggest player, we can say Andre Onana. I mean, as far as um, somebody who came in with such high regard, the could have won the Champions League MVP if Inter didn't lose in the final. But one of the best goalkeepers we've seen in a long time, and he's come into this United squad and single-handedly pushed them out of Europe. So there's got to be a lot of changes coming. We don't know what's going to come this month with the transfer windows. United's not very, even with Fergie around, they were never big, really keen on January signings. But real quick, we've heard names mentioned like Choupo-Moting and Timo Werner and Thomas Mueller. What's the obsession with this club and getting has-beens at the January break to try and improve the squad? It's very frustrating, and we've seen what Werner can do in the Premier League, which was nothing. So I just don't get it. But yeah, I think United is one of the biggest disappointments so far. Do you concur? Or do you have something for me?
I'm down. I'm down with that. According to Ben Jacobs, Sir Jim Ratcliffe is in Manchester today for meetings. The main aim is to make introductions to staff across all departments, including Eric Ten Hag, and learn more about the club operations. Ineos still plan to make the majority of key decisions after completion and a strategic review. So that's from Ben Jacobs this morning when it comes to Sir Jim Ratcliffe rolling in. You can't say, and I'm going to look at the rest of the table. We're talking disappointments. I cannot put Brighton in there because this is their first time ever in European competition, and you're trying to balance that schedule with the Premier League schedule, with not being 100% because of injuries. And that's the same reason that I will say that Newcastle is not a disappointment, because you could have an all-injured starting 11 and a starting 11 for Eddie Howe. Actually, you want another one? Chelsea. But it also seems to be a running gag. It's like, okay, how do we fix this problem? Let's throw more money at it.
Exactly.
And Bowley Clear Lake, they're like, yeah, okay, $1 billion in transfers, and you are mid-table. You are the beginning of group number 3 in 10th place right now, and obviously, Pochettino has taken the shackles off of Madueke, and Noni Madueke has done really well his last handful of matches, but I feel for Pochettino because the expectations are so high, and it's almost like Nottingham Forest. The solution is to buy more players and spend more money and have the manager sit there and sort it all out, and then the ownership group, or Evangelos Marinakis, just gets mad because you can't do it. And now Steve Cooper's gone, and Steve Cooper will probably end up taking over for Roy Hodgson, because Roy Hodgson at 76 is pretty much over it all. And when he leaves Crystal Palace, Steve Cooper's coming in on a free, and I think Forrest has screwed that up. So I would say disappointing Chelsea and disappointing owners. But once again, when you're like 20 dudes in the sandbox, capital T, capital S, that's what you're staring at. I know you've got to go. Last thoughts from Festive Fixtures, and what else are you looking forward to quick?
Festive Fixtures, not really many more thoughts, as opposed to just you can't not love it. So many games, so much time to just enjoy what we all love, and that's this beautiful game. I do want to say one thing. I like what you said about Brighton. Also, a lot of people have to remember as well, no McAllister and no Saicedo who helped them get to where they are, and they're still sitting in the top 10 in the Premier League right now. Deserves everything, just all the accolades. But United, they don't play again until the 8th, which I just love. I think it's an FA Cup third round
Right.
against Wigan, and I think that game you'll see a similar, more similarities in what the lineup has been. But I think come January 14th, he's going to release the Hounds, and I think we'll see that starting 11 that we saw against Arsenal earlier in the season before everyone got injured. I'm excited about it. No guarantees when it comes from Ten Hag, because we saw that second half. He was so excited to revert back to that McTominay project, and once he did, everything just fell apart. So, you don't get excited for United games anymore because you just don't know what to expect. The inconsistency and just those frauds out on the field, they got to start to play. They have to.
Oh boy, Manchester United is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna.
So perfect. Yes.
All right, Drew. Thanks again for hanging out, and we will continue things with Prem and Proper. Get back to the real world, sir. We'll catch up soon.
I'll be on Friday for the 3D. Happy New Year, everybody. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, bye.
All right.